What's going on, horror fans? It's Foose here, and we are another day closer to Scream 7. Yesterday, we started our little trip back through the rest of the franchise with a little revisited or second take on Scream 1. Today, we're going to do the same thing with Scream 2. Consider this our take 2 for Scream 2. Alright, so the first thing I want to say after a fresh look back on Scream 2 here is that this is one of the greatest horror sequels of all time, in my opinion. I mean, same thing that I said about Scream 1, as far as it having that infinite rewatch value and that feel good movie sort of vibe and all that nostalgia. The same thing holds true about Scream 2. And, you know, I don't know if it's just the fact that it was the slasher franchise of my generation or what it is, growing up around the same time as these movies were relevant, but there's just something about them that has a certain nostalgia and a certain vibe that is top notch. And after rewatching it, a couple of things that stood out about this movie, and I'm kind of repeating this one here because I know I mentioned this in my review for Scream 2, but big fan of the whole Cassandra and the role in the play situation for Sydney in this movie, and the way that that kind of creates some kind of loose parallels and pretty good metaphor for her character in reality. You've got this character she's portraying in the play that's kind of blessed with the ability to see the future, but then kind of cursed with the fact that nobody chooses to believe her. And in a way, that kind of is very similar to what Sydney goes through as far as being a victim and all of this type of stuff. And at times, people not only don't believe her, but they also go as far as to say that she's thriving on what she's going through and all of that at times. So it's pretty cool parallels there, I would say. Another thing that I'll point out again about this movie is just the awesome performance that we get from Nev Campbell, and she really balances that two sides of the trauma coin, so to speak, extremely well. At times, comes off very vulnerable, very much affected by what she's gone through. But then there's times where she's just callous as can be and is downright badass towards the end of this movie. So big fan of how well we kind of toe that line here, and you know I don't think you could have asked for a better performance in this one. Probably my favorite Sidney Prescott of the franchise. Pretty sure I've gone on the record for saying that. And then last thing I'll kind of point out about this after going back and rewatching, because it's a recent hot button issue a little bit here, and that's the Top Gun dancing scene in Scream 2 that we get in the cafeteria. And I've gone on the record for saying not a fan of that scene personally. And here recently, the man Jerry O'Connell himself has come out and kind of been pretty, he's come out and been pretty, defensive and supportive for this role in this scene. And while I'd like to be able to say that his enthusiasm, his passion for it, has weighed my opinion a bit, not so much. I mean, I'm still not the biggest fan of this scene. It did give us the awesome, meme that everybody likes to use of Mickey dancing. So I mean, it does have some redeeming value, and we also get the moment where he gives Sydney the necklace that she'll ultimately use at the end of the movie. So there's some positive to be taken from the scene, but overall, it's not my favorite point of the movie. I love this movie so much though that it's going to have no negative effect overall. Last thing I will point out, actually, here, one more point. Uh, I've been pretty negative also over time on Gail as a character. Not saying that I don't have a lot of respect for the weight that that character holds in the franchise or any of that type of stuff. Just as far as the likable quality that she's had throughout these movies and some of the things that she's done, what she represents, all of that, never been the biggest fan of. 4 has been the one that I've always said was my favorite version of Gail, the one that I did enjoy the most. I will say, the more I'm watching than Scream 2, the more I do kind of enjoy her character a little bit more. So maybe I can give Gail a little bit more, a little less grief, I should say. But yeah, so those just some fresh thoughts here on Scream 2. Heading into Scream 7. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow here again with Scream 3. So looking forward to rewatching that one. I rewatch Scream 3, and every single time I do, it seems like I like it more and more. So let's see if that holds true again this time. But see you on that one. In the meantime, take it easy.